Hello, people. Let me check my volume levels because they always seem to be wrong. Hello, volume levels. Oh, they seem fine. They're fine. Well, last time I streamed, I think we were still doing stuff on the gameplay testing system, and I figured it was time to do some more work there because we cannot yet correctly test every level in the game. The ones with timed elements are not correctly recorded and played back. Although, well, we'll leave it at that. I need to write something down that I did today that needs to be followed up on. Okay. So for anyone who wasn't here that time, well, we can run the game. And I can hit Control-T and it loads a pre-saved test of moves that are just moves that I played and recorded, and it'll use those to solve the level. You know, and that works for shorter levels or longer levels and so forth. But right now it just works by playing the moves back in order. So if there are levels with timed elements, it won't work. So for example, well, you know, I can go to this game here and see these things move over time along with me. So depending on when I move north here, I might be able to go on that lily pad or I might not. And that is not currently handled by the replay system. And so, you know, obviously, the way you would do that is record when each move happened. But, well, and then when playing it back, you need to do some things about waiting and maybe simulating the world forward to the right time. And that might get complicated. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. But the step that I need to do before any of that is probably to be cleaner about the way time works. Because right now, I think a lot of people are reading time off a global variable. And really, there should be like a time counter on the entity manager, which is the struct that represents this particular or any particular world, right? So that if you're running two side by side, they could have different clocks and stuff. And that's going to probably be messy and boring because always the way I do things like this is I rename the global variable to something else so that the code breaks. And then that forces me to audit every site that used to use that variable. Some variables that are using the global clock may actually want to know how long has it been since the game started up. Other things might want to know what time is it according to, you know, the simulator clock, right? So I want to factor those things apart and be a little more clean about them. Now, that said, there are multiple clocks already because we have a concept of like the UI clock and the gameplay clock, and or the UI clock the animation clock and the simulation clock. And so maybe we can move one of those at a time. Like the animation clock already has its own name, so that should be very clean to move. We could give it a try. What do we use for project management and issue tracking? We use FogBugs, or they renamed that to something else. So whatever that is now. Is this still immediate mode? What do you mean? Is what immediate mode? I don't understand the question. All right. I gotta close some of these windows. Let's close this one. Come on, Visual Studio. Let me close you without going to the window. Let's close. Don't need Discord open. Let's close a couple of folders. That's probably enough. All right. All right. OpenGL. There's no such thing as retained mode in OpenGL, so I'm not sure what you mean. If you mean the calls that I put in front of GL that I call like immediate draw, that's not exactly what is classically referred to as immediate mode versus retained mode. That's like a different thing, sort of. I don't know. Anyway, that is used for some things, but not for like the characters and the environments, right? All those things have triangle lists on the GPU that they draw. All right. Okay. Let me actually do some work here. So I forgot. Oh yeah, clocks. Clocks. Oh, we have a separate file. Okay, so we have this time info thing. We have UI time. We have real world time, and we have current time. Oh boy. Okay, wait, is animation time already on the Entity Manager? Well, animation DT is on there. I guess we don't have an animation time. We just have the DT. Okay, that's good. That's already where we want it. Let's go. Oh, we have a gameplay time already. I already moved it. I just suspect that not everybody uses the gameplay time. Do we even update it yet? Do we set it to 0? That's not going to be enough. Oh, I added that before in anticipation of doing testing stuff, right? But it's not actually used. So, okay. Well, I guess that's not different. We don't want our simulator rate to be different from the animation rate, really. Okay. So we're just going to say, for now, we're going to say again, animation time plus equals manager.animation dt. And when we reset, we it's called reset entity manager. Okay. When we undo, we probably save a time. Well, I guess we don't. I hope I have a back pointer to the entity manager. So we need to save a gameplay time on this. Yeah, it's float 64. That's what it is. It's float 64. Okay. Now what? Well, okay, when we do undo, when we do an undo or a redo, and we do all this stuff, then we'll say manager.gameplay time equals record.gameplay time. Maybe something like that. Oh, potential loss of information. Well, we're going to have to make that okay. So undo code looks cool with all the ugs and hacks. Yeah, at some point, like the undo code was some of the earliest code that I wrote, and I didn't know how a lot of things were going to work. And now I know better how things should work for this game. So it would be nice to go through there and just do a pass and clean it up. But it's not what I'm doing right now. Okay. So now the problem is the gameplay code, the testing code is using this gameplay time, sort of. Although it's not setting it. Well, we're not using it yet, but we'll do that later. But the gameplay code is not using the gameplay time. It's probably using one of these old things. So I got to do this trick that I was telling you, wherein I rename these, and then we see what happens. And there's also going to be maybe some casting required because these used to be floats and the new thing is float 64. So there's that. Okay, so current time and current DT are going to be called, so current DT is going to be current frame DT And current time is going to be time since seconds since startup. And then real world time can jump off a cliff. I don't think, because this is going to be real world time. Seconds since startup is going to be real world time now. All right. So let's see who breaks. Everybody. All right. Okay. Campaign state has a current time. That is not really the right place for it. I mean, let's look at that. Oh, I see. Well, so for some reason, so this was done a really long time ago, which is why I didn't remember it. This is essentially the same time variable that I just was trying to introduce. Um, well, where do I want it is the question. Do I want current time on the entity manager or on the campaign state? And along with that, these time variables. Like, I guess I had them on the campaign state because this is the non-entity information that you need in order to save and load your game correctly. So maybe from the standpoint of partitioning information into a place that is easier to find, then maybe this really is the right place for it. Okay, I buy that explanation. So that means that I delete this. And then eat that fallout also. Okay. Skipping stones. It's going to be so many things broken. But it's good to be clear about these things. All right. Yeah. Okay, this is a visual effect. But it should really be in sync with everything, with the gameplay. So it's Okay, real world DT is not a member of time info. Right. We ditched that. Current time. Yeah, so for example, when determining entities falling, I was using the global clock, which is not really right. Okay. Yeah, same here. Probably want this, yeah. Yeah, these all... Okay, I kind of have a problem. My problem is the campaign state is not the right place to put that time because there are separate times in every entity manager, right? You could have a campaign with several worlds happening at once. So I was right the first time. But in case I keep changing my mind, I'm gonna make an abstraction for this for now. We're gonna replace this with now is get gameplay time. Well, I don't know if that's always going to be what the thing is called, but yeah. And then you know, screw it. Why do that? Why do it? All right, we're going back to what we did the first time. What an exciting stream where we do and undo and redo and unredo things. So exciting. I don't know if XX is going to be the final thing. I just want it to be something that's super easy to type. That's all. Maybe it's going to be double single tick or double backslash. I don't know. I don't know. It's just XX is like right there under your hand. It's just easy to hammer it. Okay. All right. This is, all right. So actually, I need to take current time off the frickin' campaign state. Because that's no good. Wait, what? Okay, wait. Now I'm, okay. No. I was right before. because there isn't. Okay, so the reason I got confused is in the previous games that I made, there's one campaign state globally, but I believe now the campaign state is associated one per entity manager. Let's find out. I might be too tired to be doing this right now. I flew in today from Las Vegas. Get campaign state. We look at the current level set. We get the campaign state from that. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of right. And if we need to put that individually on an entity manager later for some reason, we could do. Okay, we're undoing the thing we unredid. So good. So good. Okay. All right. Get gameplay time is going to be CS is get. Is it called get current campaign? I don't know. Get campaign state. Get campaign state. Okay. That's fine. That's what we're doing. That's how we're doing it. We're just committing now instead of undoing things. Okay. Update emitter. Okay. Oh, you didn't save the file. That's weird. I haven't seen that one. It's another bug, got to get fixed. All right. Current time is not a member of time info. This is for drawing fog of war, which is not. Should this be gameplay time or not? Should this be gameplay time or not? I feel like it should be. Because if you play the game in fast forward, you want the fog to fade out at the speed that you're playing, right? Okay. Just because I have, oh geez. Okay, draw ocean. Yeah. I never know if I need more clocks than I currently have. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. What do you mean wanted 0? Did I not save it? Oh, get. Maybe I should make my Emacs learn how to compile. Okay, 2447. All these same routines. There's so much potential for me to be breaking things really bad right now. Right. Okay, this is camera zoom. I mean, I guess camera zoom is a UI thing only. But then if you're playing the gameplay back at really high speed, maybe you really want it to be gameplay time. I don't know. I don't know. Manager.gameplay time is instead this. Last turn time. Does anyone use that? particles use that. Particles use that. Yeah. I believe that really should be wall clock. So as tedious and annoying as this seems like, right, this is actually the best way to solve this problem because renaming the variable forces you to audit every site, right? Back when I was not as good of a programmer, and I would suggest that most programmers would do it this way, instead people just like try to make the new variable and try to use it and try to think about what places might have it wrong. And then they run their program and they would get their program to a compiling state much sooner than I have. But then they run it and it's full of problems that they may not even see for a long time, right? So this way you root out the problems because you're forced to look at every case. As many as there are, I don't even know if I'm halfway through or a quarter of the way through or 1/10 of the way through. I have no idea. No idea. Okay, this is just setting it back. So I'm a little surprised that I wasn't backing up and restoring the time. That makes me suspicious that I'm doing it somewhere else that I haven't noticed. Okay, skipping stones. Current DT is not a member of time info. Of course it isn't. Yeah, I already have a DT up there. Anyway. Game time. I'm not sure what that's used for. No, if that's used in a shader, it's probably used for the mirage effect, which should be gameplay time. Is it called current frame DT? What did I even call that? Current frame DT. Okay. I have to look at we must have been setting the time in the campaign state, right? So we must say current time equals somewhere. Just setting it to, maybe we never set it. Oh, maybe. Always check for the plus equals, folks. That's how tired I am. Yep. It's in update skipping stones for some reason. Which is really not. Really not the right place for it. Okay, potential loss of information. All right. Okay. I messed up that. No capital T. Whoa, we compiled. Oh, look, our shell, we did so great that our shell broke and is trying to index a nil value in Lua. High quality software. How is undo implemented? Are actions reversible or take snapshots? What happens is we know the state of all the entities before anything happens, and then we let code run to change variables, and then we just diff the values, and we store the values that changed. Yeah, so that whole trick that I just did, right, Sartak in the chat said, he does that and sometimes even restoring the original name after he's done, or she, I don't know who you are. Yes, that I often do that as well. Like sometimes I want to keep the name because the name is good, but I want to force myself to audit the code and make sure it's right. And that's how you do it: is you change the name, everything breaks, you fix everything, and then you do like a global search and replace on the name to change it back to what you want, right? Which doesn't work in the GUI programming languages. I mean GUI, not graphical user interfaces. The ones that like let you just declare a variable by using the name and assume it's null, you know, like JavaScript or whatever. It doesn't work in those languages, or Perl or something. All right. Am I a self-taught programmer? Well, I mean, not totally, because my first exposure to computers was in a class in the 5th grade, 6th grade. And then I taught myself at home a lot. And then I went to college and learned some stuff. And then I taught myself a lot. So I'm a lot self-taught and I'm a lot school educated, both. Hey, okay, our guy is running at a normal speed. Things did not have to go that well. I'll tell you that. Okay, that's good. I can undo still. Things did not have to go that well at all. All right. So some of this other time stuff, like the beam fade out there, it's a little inconsistent with the other beam effects, but you know, I'm just checking it, and it does fade out and in appropriately, so that's fine. Yeah, I have some issues with this wizard model, or we need to decide some things. Let me put it that way. We need to decide some things, and I think my preferred decision is involves some modifications to this wizard model. Let's just say. Let's just say that. Well, this is not a real level, by the way. This is just me throwing a bunch of stuff so I can mess with it. Yeah, so now since we changed the clocks, the ocean goes back in time when we undo, which is maybe better. I don't know. Let's try some of this stuff. Uh-oh, the particles didn't work. Okay, that's not good. So we did break a thing. How about other particles? Like what? Like if I go over here and I smash, yeah, that didn't work either, I think. Yeah. Okay, our particle systems are not working, which means they're probably using two different clocks. That's usually, like I changed one clock and not the other clock. So let's take a look at that. I'm saying DT is get gameplay time, which is dumb. A DT is a DT, not a time. If we had units in this language, we would catch that. So I keep wanting to think about maybe doing units. I'm not sure if it's going to work out, but we'll see. There we go. We got particles now. We got particles now. All right. Great. Well, I'm going to save that out. Clock remapping. I am not going to try to all the way do the like the full feature delivery of this would be now to go to the replay system and make it handle time levels. The reason I don't want to do that right this second is because I'm kind of tired and that's complicated and I might mess it up. I'd rather go to bed and do it in the morning. So I'm instead just going to cross off this part of it. And then we can chase down some other things that are maybe easier that have been sitting around for a while. That's 2 items right there that we just did in theory. It's almost time to rewrite this to-do list. We got to 2 pages for a while, but we're going to be back on 1 page soon. Okay, so I have 2 items. There's this whole problem where when we make a clone, it doesn't animate correctly initially, and I don't exactly know why. So I want to debug that. Well, there's at least 2 observed problems. One is that he's playing the wrong animation sometimes, and one is that his vertex buffer is all messed up. They're probably the same problem. I haven't seen the vertex buffer be super messed up due to some other refactorings, but I assume it's the same problem. And so if we can fix that, that's 2 more to-do list items gone. Aren't units just glorified types? Well, maybe, except they're sort of hierarchical types in a way, right? Because if you have a unitless thing, you maybe want to be able to assign a united value to the unitless thing without it being a warning or an error. Otherwise, all your code has to use units all the time, which is probably be tedious because then you couldn't like multiply by 3. So I don't know. I mean, it has to get figured out. Yeah, units are not overloaded operators, right? Like, you solved level 8 by making a mistake. Well, isn't that good? Isn't that good? Yeah. I am tired. All right. That's what happens when you start out the day in Las Vegas and you end the day in San Francisco. And you also get new glasses that day. And you also work a bunch. It just all adds up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So let's, this level here, no, this level, let's simplify this a bunch. Because we don't need all these things right now. Just need this guy. And let's just put that off to the side. It's all good. So, oh, wait. We want these to be magical mirrors. Wait. Is there a better level for this? Yeah, this one. Which one is this? Be fruitful to. So we'll pop that to the beginning of the list so that when I go to this level set, we will be in there. All right, so the first one. So I make clones. Wait, and they're both animated correctly now. Weird. Well, I mean, the guy on the left seems to have more animation happening, but that may just be because... Oh no, there we go. See how, like, that dude, why is he playing a running animation? I don't know. Well, his animation graph is in a different state. Right, so when we clone the guy, we need to copy animation graph state from one guy to the other. Before we call animate. Right, because when we implemented cloning before, we didn't even have the animation graph system. That whole thing didn't exist, so it doesn't know about it. Streams are not on any consistent time. They just happen when I decide to stream. Hey, a Vegas wedding would have been exciting, but I don't know any particularly good candidates for a Vegas wedding right now. So that's not how it went. You can't figure out level 10. Let's see, level 10. The hell are you talking about? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one. Well, I hate to break it to you, but level 10 in this port of the game is slightly harder than the wussy level 10 that you're playing. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You've seen the solution to level 10 if you've watched the tests go by. So it should be in your subconscious somewhere. Come on, when have I ever made a game and made things easier? I always make things harder. I always make things harder. Mofo. All right, so we got to copy the animation graph at least. At least. Well, how do I... Let's say clone graph state. Source to depth. Well, oh wait, no, we don't, okay. The graph itself doesn't have any information. It's animation state that has that info. The animation state is like where in the graph are we and all that kind of thing, right? So what is animation names? Why is that on the state? What? The hell is an animation names? It's been a while since I did this. Names catalog. What? Oh, yeah, okay. It's an extra little remapping thing that we do. We can just copy the pointer, it's fine. I don't know if that's enough, but maybe it is. All right, so we've got human animation state. Yeah. So we have to clone that. But that's a different thing than what I just did, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah. So when I do this, so this human animation state has on it the animation system's animation state. So we can do that as well. Clone animation state source dot animation state desk. The names are a little bit repetitive and confusing, but there we go. Okay. This is essentially the equivalent of a C++ copy constructor, except it's not. It's actually a move constructor, sort of. But we don't formalize it that much because I don't see the point. So, all right, so what's in gameplay state? Oh, no, we don't. Yeah, we don't care. All right. Animation state is not a member of entity. Right. All right. Well, let's see if that's any better. It looks better. Nope. That was weird. They end up in different states. I mean, it seems better, although maybe that's not a sign of anything. So probably when we set mesh on the guy, when we set mesh on the clone, that's probably calling an initial animate routine. Whoa! Wait, and that was the old guy who had the freaked out. It might be two completely separate problems. Huh. And why is my Mirage showing up in a weird spot? Okay, one problem at a time. Yeah, I only use SSDs for sure. Too much magic. Sorry, folks, I gotta test it. I did, so the wizard sound effect, oh, maybe I didn't check it in. I made it less crazy. No. Did I not check it in? Huh, I don't know. All right. So the being on exit really confuses it. Okay, so that animation clone really didn't do anything useful. Like, this is still the same result we had before. Why? Why is that? And anyway, we should be okay, so swap target doesn't do anything a lot of the time. That's too bad. So how do we end up in state walking? The left guy ends up in state walking. Question is that the original guy or is it the clone? I mean, it could be either. It's probably the original guy. Because look, he's walking now. So that's the real mystery, right? So there, he's fine. Is it because state walking is the 0th state? So what that'll do that I just did is if we don't designate an animation state, we'll call switch to inactive idle. Yeah. Yeah. So now the problem is there's no switch to active idle, so we'll just be state active. So if he's active, we'll say if you don't handle swaps target, go to state active. Otherwise, if he's not active, if you don't handle swap target, go to inactive idle. So may not be the best approach. I don't know. All right, so there we go. It's pretty good. All right. I don't think that fixes the vertex buffer problem or the weird mirage position problem. All right. But it is enough to check that in. And scribble something off here. Animate new clone. That gets scribbled off. It actually wasn't the new clone that was the problem all the time. It was the old clone. Yeah. Yeah, these are not, most of what you're seeing is not my original ideas right now. These are other people's original ideas that I am adapting. I'm adapting. That vertex buffer being wrong problem is bugging me. It doesn't happen very often, though. So step one would be, how do we make it happen all the time? And the answer to that is, I don't exactly know. Maybe it doesn't happen anymore since I have initialized the graph. Maybe that fixes some things. I don't know. I don't actually know. See if we can make it happen. Oh, I've got it. Oh, that was kind of messed up, right? Ah, he started at size 0. Did you see that? Well, huh? Must be something in the rendering. I mean, it looks like something is being interpolated. Like the orientation. If the orientation for some reason is being interpolated from a 0 orientation, for example, which I don't know why that would be, but if you imagine that that were so, I happen to know through all my game development experience that, of course, if you transform something by a quaternion, the length of the quaternion is the scale factor on the thing. Whoops. Okay. So there's one way to tell if that's the problem, which is just to go into bug draw here, and instead of drawing this, oh. I was drawing some other newer debug stuff. Right, like the velocity. Instead, I'm going to say the first line is just going to print out the orientation. Now, of course, the system is complicated enough that even if that's correct, maybe something else is wrong. We don't have any length for quaternion. Ridiculous. All right, so when I print this out, slow down time a lot. Well, the orientation's length is 1. Whoa, Nelly. Okay. He's an animated mesh, though, right? So there's all this other state in his mesh animator that I guess is uninitialized. Look at all that. Yeah, those bone positions are way off because we're drawing the bone there. So they're just uninitialized. So how is it possible for that to happen? How is it possible? How is it possible? All right. So like the output matrices are getting screwed up. Which means maybe the would we be blending between? Let's take a look more closely. Like if it's the result of a blend, we would see the blend here, and I doubt we're going to see that, right? Yeah. It's not a blend between channels. There's only one channel. And yet the bone positions are whack. What else gets lerped? So for calls to lerp, states relative to parents. Last blend factor. All right. Okay, well, so if there's only one channel and you try to blend out from that channel, no, I guess because these values aren't used until next frame. Why is the left one spawning correctly but the right one not? The reason is that only one of those guys is being spawned new. The other guy is just being teleported, and he already exists. So the guy who's being spawned new does not have something set up correctly in his animation player, which is curious. Something is not initialized. Couldn't the glitch mirage on the other side of the stage be appearing because when your code renders two mirages at once in one position, it does so a second time using one of the actual mirages position instead of the originals? Maybe. Yeah, I don't remember how I did that, so we will look at it. I gotta write that down though. Thanks for reminding me. Mirage out of place. We're gonna look at that one tomorrow, I think. Look at all this stuff. Oh, I gotta send an email real fast. from a fresh run, how many clonings occur before this bug? I believe you see it immediately, right? So we're here. I'm just going to slow time way down so you can see it. And we're going to teleport. There you go. See? Boom. That should not be happening. That is an interpolation from 0 up. So if it's this thing, well, let's check. Why do we have two different versions of lerp for X forms? What? You people are crazy. Let's see if that still compiles. Wow, I gotta fix that. All right. I'm gonna write that down. Just when I think we're about to get on one, we're about to get on one page. It'll be a long page, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. All right. All right, what am I doing here? Well, let's make sure it still happens. I don't think I magically fixed it by deleting a lerp, but it wouldn't be the strangest thing ever to happen. No, still happening. All right, so what lerps inside the channel? Fraction. Oh, that's the intra. I don't think that'll matter. I mean, I can just hack that real fast. It'll make our animations jumpy. See? Look at that. It's like claymation now. Maybe we should make it, we could call it a claymation game. Okay, that doesn't fix it. That's informative. I was pretty sure that wouldn't fix it, but I was just checking. Yeah, so it's not this one. I could do that. So he's a little jumpier because we don't lerp so much. That fixed it. Yeah. So it's this lerp that's causing the problem. I don't know why last blend factor would not be equal to 1. Because we set it to 1. And there's only one channel. How is this even? So we're going to have 2 of these guys. That's going to be confusing. We'll see what happens. Oh, we're only printing it once. Why do we have 80 channels? Why do we have 85 animation channels on our guy? Okay, that is not the expected result. So we should have one channel on that guy. I mean, when I go here, we're only showing one channel. So what is this 85 channels bullshit? Oh, we're in the node info. Never mind. Okay. I put my print. We want to put it here. All right. Sometimes when you got a nonsensical result, ooh, baby. Okay, yeah, there's 2 channels for some reason. We are only printing 1. See, one of these guys only has 1 channel and the other has 2. So my theory is when we set up a guy because we loaded a level, we're doing something special to get rid of a default channel. I don't know. All right, what information? Well, let's just print out the whole channel. Because screw it, that'll tell us some things. All right, slow down. Okay, channel 0 is an animation channel. We don't really print the animation name in there. Where's the animation? Because I want to know if I'm somehow playing the same animation twice. Why is it not showing up in the debug HUD if I have 2 frickin' channels blending? What's going on there? I mean, assuming I don't just crash from dereferencing a null animation, which might happen. Yep. Yep. So that's what's happening, is there's no name on this channel. Therefore, the debug HUD is not printing it, which is maybe not the best thing because it's a debug HUD. Yeah. So we're probably by default putting a channel on the thing, and that's not happening, or we're clearing it or something. Yeah. All right, let's fix the damn debug HUD. All right. We know it's not the quaternion length anymore. Okay. Now we should be able to see the difference. That is accurate. There we go. There we go. If I had seen that 20 minutes ago, I would have known what the problem was immediately. Look at that. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. All right. Well, why do we have a thing with no name? Well, we're probably calling add animation channel when we create the thing. Well, let's look at what, so we call set mesh, which is add animation to guy. Add animation player. We add an animation channel. Then we call set mesh. Oh, this is that mess. Oh, God. I have to clean this up. It's kind of mutually recursive, which is often a bad sign. Oh, that's a different set mesh, sorry. Let's set mesh on animation player. Okay, it's this one. So, okay, that doesn't do anything bad. It doesn't look like. All right. So we add a channel there. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some debugger. I'm going to pop this open. We're going to go here. Now, I'm going to set a breakpoint and add animation channel. Here, and it'll get called twice. And we'll be like, well, why'd that happen? First of all, let's make sure it happens twice. So one time, second time. There we go. Oh boy, that was great. Whoops. Okay. So the first time we're adding a channel when we make the animation player, I would say that's expected. So why are we calling add animation channel when we say play animation? Fucking C++. All right. So what is its blend out T? It's 0. So we didn't do anything here. This thing is not really, this code is not expecting a channel with no animation. That, I think when I initially made that, the intent was like, oh, well, you just set the animation on that, but that's not the way the code works. So I believe under the normal path, we're just calling reset later to blow away that channel. Wait, where was it? Let's do it again. Add animation channel from line 1027 of entities. Let's see if we can get rid of that. That seems like an anachronism. Okay, our guy still walks around. We pop into the level, they're animating. Hey, look at that. Well, that was fine. That was really worth 17 hours of debugging. All right. Yep, look at that. Look how clean that was in comparison to the stuff that we've been witnessing. Boop. Boop, boop. All right, that may be enough for tonight. There's still that mirage position problem. But this vertex corruption so-called thing had been on my list for a while. I've rewritten it through multiple to-do lists, and now it is crossed out. That's great. So, any questions before I go to sleep? I am happy to have that one off the list. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. What is the problem that you spotted now? Well, hopefully you've seen since you asked. I'm going to start rewriting one of these to-do lists, and then I'll concatenate when I write the second one. I got these new pens that I like. Makes it fun. Why does he briefly appear at the top square? That's a different bug. Yeah, that's the mirage out of position bug. Which, yep, it must be fixed, but I'm not exactly sure what the problem is. I have some suspicions, but I don't actually know. Okay, so this big messy to-do list has now turned into this one. And then maybe tomorrow we'll knock a couple more off this one before rewriting it. And we'll all be on one page again and we'll all be happy. Maybe. There's some easy ones on here, or there's some isolated, let's just say isolated ones. There's one or two relatively big ones, but a bunch of smalls. Bunch of smalls. Smalls. All right. Don't forget to free the old to-do list. Temporary writing. What pen do I use? I don't know. I just got these in the mail. They're Papermate Ink Joy Gel 0.7 millimeter centimeter gamma meter. It's just nice. I mean, it's not the best pen. You know, I mean, it's a regular consumer pen, right? But a lot of them are crappy, and this one just feels okay. You know, it's not too. Sometimes the pens that feel good are also really blobby when you try to write with them, and this one isn't. So that's nice. But again, it's a new impression, so we'll see. It's just it's all right. Pilot G2 is always the answer. No, I have some of those here. Wait, that's not this one. Maybe I don't have any Pilot G2s right now. Yeah, maybe I need to get some of those as well. All right, thanks everyone for stopping by. We'll do some more work as time continues onward. Do I plan to add closures later? I don't know. My assumption originally was that I probably would. As time goes on, I'm really not needing them. However, the thing is, we do make pretty heavy use of procedure pointers for stuff that gets passed around everywhere. So if you've seen the streams, you might notice like, oh yeah, there's a thing where you put in a standard allocation procedure somewhere for memory allocation or a standard logger. And anytime you do that, you want at least one piece of data to go with the thing, right? So like you want a pointer to the heap to go with your allocator procedure or whatever. And that's almost like what closures do anyway. So the implementation is probably going to be that a procedure by value has a code pointer and a data pointer instead of passing separate parameters around everywhere. And then given that that's the case, from there, it's only a really small step to like wrap up a closure, right? So I think we'll probably end up supporting closures just because we'll be almost there anyway. It's just not a high priority. All right. Thanks everybody for coming by. I'll see you later. See you later.